electrifying. That is the only word you could use to describe this match. When Ricochet nonchalantly replied to a tweet from The Rock after Ricochet used one of The Rock's moves on SmackDown one week, no one could ever imagine that it would spiral into this. All those months ago, in what was yet another stellar performance from the undeniably talented Ricochet, he used one of The Rock's moves, and The Rock simply stated that he saw it, prompted a response from Ricochet that would raise eyebrows. Ricochet claimed to be better than The Rock in every single way possible, and while the jabs were all in fun from The Rock's side initially, they would quickly turn into full-blown punches, and soon enough, once Ricochet saw the opening and had his foot in the door with The Rock, he would do everything in his power to get under the skin of the Great One. Ricochet would constantly mock The Rock, doing his moves, doing his entrance, throwing verbal barbs his way constantly. While it was all pretty much silent from The Rock's camp for the longest time, Ricochet was making huge waves inside the WWE. All of this eventually would become way too much for the Great One, and he couldn't stand idly by and watch anymore. The Rock would show up via satellite to tell Ricochet that he has indeed been watching, and while he's impressed, he's not amused. He told Ricochet to show The Rock why he deserves a match with the Great One, and if he impresses him enough, he might consider showing up in Las Vegas. So Ricochet, in typical Ricochet fashion, would indeed impress. And when The Rock would show up again, the match was made official for Vegas, but The Rock said he was always keen for the match. He always wanted the match. He always wanted to fight Ricochet. And he hasn't just been watching, he's been training. He's been studying, and he is ready. And on the most recent episode of SmackDown, Ricochet and The Rock would finally come face to face in the ring in a somewhat surprising development. It was Ricochet that would outshine The Rock in a brief physical confrontation. The Rock attempted to deliver a message to Ricochet, but instead, he was flung out of the ring, and instead of completing a dive and taking out The Rock, Ricochet would complete the mind games, showing just how quickly and easily he could dispatch the Great One. And very few times in his incredible career have we seen The Rock lost for words, but he was. So at WrestleMania, it's the Great One versus the one and only, for one time only. Perhaps the greatest of all time versus the greatest of this time. Who have you got? There's only one way to see it, and that is live at WrestleMania in Las Vegas.